Round of 8 at the first qualifier for Dreamhack Tours, everybody. The second regional final for Europe, and we have TeamLiquid going up against mYinsanity. And this is going to be a good one. TeamLiquid with a ban on Tacita, and a few people might actually look at this and might say, like, wait, why exactly would you ban out Tacita? The reason is simple. mYinsanity is a massive, massive fan of double support play, and Tacita is one of their preferred second supports. So TeamLiquid already with a target ban against mYinsanity, who get rid of Illidan in this case, and TeamLiquid start off with a great pick themselves. They go into Greymane. Chris most likely going to be on the hero. And well, mYinsanity is going to continue the draft here, but I'm also not alone today. I have Tetcher with me, and we're going to bring you the coverage in this best of 3 series between mYinsanity and TeamLiquid at the Dreamhack Tours Qualifier.
Yeah, this is going to be game number 1. Sonya going to be locked in first for mYinsanity here, choosing to prioritize her over the Thrall, so we'll probably see a fair amount of focus on keeping that Sonya alive so that she can drop damage and get a huge amount of wave clear for the shrines.
Yeah, in patch 17.1, which we are currently playing here, we have a couple of things that we definitely need to watch out for. Dehaka is allowed, for example. That's one of the heroes that we've already seen played earlier by TeamLiquid, and we know that BKB favors the hero highly. We've not really seen too much Kel'Thas today, but after the recent patch, Kel'Thas has been played in the North American qualifiers already and has always given out a lot of damage. He's incredibly strong, has been played in several scrims, but we haven't really seen him today yet, but that could change in this series. TeamLiquid now, after they have Greymane, they need to think about a little bit how they want to play this. They can, of course, try and enable Greymane with picking up strong supports. There's still Uther and also, of course, Rhaegar to consider for exactly those reasons. But we've been talking about the front line already a little bit. And with Sonya taken for mYinsanity, Thrall is a good option for TeamLiquid. They could go again into like a strong front line with Muradin. Dehaka is an option. And on Infernal Shrines, yeah, they go into Muradin first. But as we already pointed out, we've seen a lot of double warrior front lines already during this tournament. So I'm pretty excited to see how TeamLiquid is going to try and play game number 1 here.
Yes, as they could in theory actually play that Dehaka again as their second warrior if that's what they want to do, and they've already shown how ridiculously good it is against Li Ming, and also it is fairly good against Sonya because second she starts spinning, send out that drag and you can immediately stop that whirlwind and position her in a situation where she could get picked off.
Tirana is a hero that we've seen several times today, and one of the big advantages of Tirana now, especially in double support setups, is that she can easily go for Starfall, which has incredible damage output. It's one of the things that we've seen in some of the previous series already, and the Tirana players oftentimes ended up with having either the highest damage in the game, or at least being very close to it. So TeamLiquid going for Tirana already looks very much like we might see that Starfall, especially if you think about Infernal Shrines and the way the map works. We have a lot of fights that are very closed in on an area around the shrine. So Starfall can get a lot of value out of this. But there's of course a couple of other picks that are really, really strong here still. We haven't seen a Falset being picked up yet. Zagara is still available. We've also have Thrall still up for the picking here. So there's a couple of things that we could see. And as Tetcher pointed out just a moment ago, Dehaka has been played in double warrior compositions by TeamLiquid already before, on this map in particular. So it's something that BKB could look at once again.
Yeah, on the bigger maps, the split soak XP you can get from it is pretty nice. For now, though, mYinsanity need to work out their second ban, as TeamLiquid have actually got themselves a very good spread. Dehaka is unfortunately banned out, we won't get to see him. But yeah, it made it very hard to ban against TeamLiquid because they had a support, they had a warrior, they had damage. They've got just a really good spread of heroes right now.
For TeamLiquid, banning out ETC makes sense. I suppose they could have tried to look at one of the support bans as well, maybe like ban out something like an Uther, since mYinsanity has a huge focus on Uther and Rhaegar play. But at this point, of course, that ETC is a huge threat against you, especially on a map like Infernal Shrines. And since there's no frontliner for mYinsanity with the exception of Sonya picked yet, banning out ETC is a very good choice. TeamLiquid has a couple of interrupts, no doubt about it, but ETC is a huge threat. And mYinsanity looks at Diablo, which we have seen a lot played at the Globals in Korea, and Diablo actually one of those heroes that allows you to control the choke points at the shrines very nicely. You can either play that with a Lightning Breath or with Apocalypse. Both of his heroics are absolutely viable here, and this is definitely a very cool pick for mYinsanity, and a very aggressive one as well, of course.
Yeah, if this was Quick Match, I would hope for Ariat Crater into Lightning Breath, but unfortunately this is not Quick Match, so we're unlikely to see that combo.
Yeah, like this is Ariat Crater is actually something that I have seen in a few scrims.
Yeah.
I doubt that we're going to see that here, but it's one of the things that we have seen picked, I don't want to really call it a little bit more often, but every now and then it came actually into play.
It's been tested, I think
Yeah.
is the best way to say it. They've
That's
at
a good
least
way.
looked at it.
And well, one of the things that we have seen tested, of course, a lot is Falstad. And Falstad
Yeah.
is now played a little bit more often with the Hinterland Blast since Blizzard finally increased that cooldown on the Mighty Gust, which was more than necessary. 40 seconds was just too low. Now we have that cooldown on 60 seconds, so a 20-second increase. It's still an amazing talent, don't get me wrong. Mighty Gust is amazing, but we have seen a few players go more into the Hinterland Blast. And if you think about it, if TeamLiquid plays Hinterland Blast here with a level 16 Overdrive and Muradin and Tyrande get their stun combo off, then Falstad can basically like just simply blow that target into the next orbit. So that would be definitely one of the games where you get a lot of value out of a Hinterland Blast. And with Uther now being used as well, we have a ton of stun on the side of TeamLiquid and also the perfect setup for that Starfall that we've been mentioning.
Yeah, we're absolutely going to be seeing that. But like you said, if that is the build Falstad goes for, he goes that full ability power focus with that overdrive, then Li Ming, especially being made out of paper mache like she is going to have a very rough time and really going to have to be careful with her positioning.
If you get the full combo off, you don't even have to waste it on Li Ming. You can blow Diablo to pieces for yeah, I mean, like, think about it. The cool thing if you go Hinterland Blast is also with the Gathering Storm build, hammer time is always cool, don't get me wrong, but on level 16, if you go into the Overdrive and then you get the extra damage out of your first Hammerang, plus the Hinterland Blast, think about that damage output there. It is on point and it does hurt so much. That's something that they can use. Talking about things that hurt, by the way, Lunara in one of the previous series that mYinsanity played got incredible damage out. We could see Nurok on the hero here once again, and mYinsanity definitely with a setup that would allow them to do incredible work as well. So we have a very strong draft for both teams here, heading into the first game of the best of 3 series. So guys, let's waste no time anymore. Jump in right away. Infernal Shrines is map number 1 here at the qualifier for Dreamhack Tours between TeamLiquid and mYinsanity. Game number 1 on Infernal Shrines is starting up. mYinsanity going up against TeamLiquid here into the left side of the map. In blue, we have TeamLiquid with Lowell on Greymane, BKB on Muradin, Chris on Falstad, Gerd Amherd on Uther, and Shad is playing Tyrande. Double support combo with one frontliner for TeamLiquid, and mYinsanity is counteracting that currently with Splendor on Rhaegar, Darkmok on Sonya. We have Hazops on Li Ming, Nurok again on Lunara, and Blumby is playing Diablo. So they are running this with a single support, which is a little bit uncharacteristic for mYinsanity, since they really love their double support combos. But I'm very, very curious about this series right now. As we mentioned during the draft, we could definitely see that blow-up composition on the side of TeamLiquid here with going Hinterland Blast. There's, of course, a huge chance that they might go into the Mighty Gust still, but with everything that we see here, with that lockdown potential, thanks to Uther, Tyrande, and also Muradin, going into a Hinterland Blast would more or less secure you a kill if you line all of this up perfectly. I'm here with Tetcher, and we're going to check out which team is going to take the lead in this series, trying to qualify for Dreamhack Tours, the second regional final in Europe.
Yes, we are, and we're going to have a quick look at some of the starting talents. We do, in fact, see Falstad going for Gathering Storm, so he is going for that little bit of burst. We'll see how it goes for him. Rhaegar getting locked down. In comes Lol, and he's able to take it down. Lol on the Greymane this time, which is pretty cool to see. Usually plays melee, so maybe he'll go a bit more melee than usual. We also see Warpaint on Sonya, giving herself a little bit more sustain. Wow, this is a terrifying comp. We actually see Force Armor on Li Ming, which absolutely did not help her there. That spell block not enough to tank through this, and there goes Diablo.
Wow. I mean, we all know how much damage Tyrande and Muradin can dish out, but if you have a Greymane also with you that can capitalize on those stuns, then this is out of this world. They get 3 kills early on in the game, and that is definitely not the start that mYinsanity were hoping for. We have block taken on Uther and on Diablo. Didn't really help Diablo, by the way, in that last encounter that we just saw there. But this is, of course, getting kind of nasty. The 4-man rotation that we saw between mid and bot lane definitely working out in favor of TeamLiquid here. And they will have a much earlier level 4 talent to their opponent. And to be honest with you, it should more or less result in them getting the Punisher, or at least getting a pretty significant lead when it comes to the minion stack.
Yeah, that is most likely. Although, currently, number-wise, it's Diablo and Sonya up in that top area first, so they're going to try and get a bigger head start as possible. Whereas TeamLiquid going for the soak. They already have their level 4 talents. We see the thick skin on Lol. He is a melee player, so he is going for a bit more of a melee focus build.
Yeah, he does, and they're already trying to go for another kill against Darkmook here, and Darkmook is very much isolated. He's getting away for a moment, but not for long, as Lowell is trying to go in for the kill, and he gets it. So we have 4 against 0 kills already. Shattered Ground taken as a level 4 talent on Sonya, by the way. We oftentimes see it as an adjustment on Infernal Shrines to get a little bit more AoE damage out there, which is going to help you getting those minion stacks together. But overall, the situation for mYinsanity, pretty grim.
Yep, it is currently 4 kills to... There are currently more kills than there are minutes in this game so far for the side of TeamLiquid, and they're going to be able to grab the first Punisher here. We already see Lunara spin down in the bot lane soaking XP. Sonya's going to go to mid lane, and they're going to try and bring themselves back into this game with a little bit of soaking.
Yeah, the entire setup that we see for TeamLiquid is, of course, dedicated to aggression, and that is exactly what we've seen right from the start. It's going to be a bit easier than later on when Rhaegar has his Ancestral, and as I have been saying during the draft as well, I personally believe that in this particular setup, going Earthshield on 13 would be the much better choice than going into the tidal waves, which we usually see taken on Rhaegar, at least when Splendor plays it here. But with all of that lockdown, Earthshield can really make the difference that you need to get that Ancestral in the last moment. And with a potential Hinterland Blast to be taken on Falstad with Overdrive maybe on 16, this would be an incredible setup for TeamLiquid to get even more kills in the later stages of this game. And Gathering Power would of course also, or sorry, not Gathering Power, but Gathering Storm, and the entire build that we're seeing with Boomerang on the side of Falstad would also benefit from Overdrive.
Yeah, it's going to do a lot of damage. It is the dream combo, being able to land all of that and just blow up a load of people. It's very fun. Greymane still going with the Incendiary Elixir, so still going to get that guaranteed hit with his Q, due to the fact that nothing is more frustrating than throwing out the Q without Incendiary Elixir and hitting nothing.
Totally true. I absolutely agree. And of course, this talent is like more or less a must-have. There are very few Greymane players, even if they want to go for a more of a walk and focus build, that will give up on this one. We have seen a few, especially when we're looking at North America. There were like 1 or 2 games where it was used, but overall, as you already explained, this talent is just so incredibly powerful, especially if you also want to use it as a bit of a range poke and as a finisher. So it's something that we kind of expected here. Also another talent that we expected, especially after the earlier games of mYinsanity, is that Nature's Culling as a level 7 talent on Lunara. Great damage against the Punishers, helps you out against structures, you can push quite easily, which is one of the things that mYinsanity actually use quite a lot against teams like Silenced Monkeys to get early keeps here as well. Right now, they play from behind, but it is definitely a talent that can make a huge difference in the later stages.
Yeah, Nature's Culling also, it does affect all non-heroes, so like you said, it is structures, it is also the objectives. So she can use that Thornwood Vine she gets at level 10 and just do some serious clearing work for her team.
Yep. Besides that, we have another Shrine activating. I want to highlight once more that the double support composition that we're seeing on the side of TeamLiquid also allows now Uther not only to go into block, but also the amplified healing. And this is something that we have seen especially in the Chinese scene at the global finals in Korea that was played quite a bit, and having that more like damage or frontline focused Uther is actually like pretty cool and can really help you. So he's going to be one of these like battle combat Uthers that we're going to see here, and this is going to be important for this fight on the Shrine now as well. But look at the experience bar. Level 10 is so close for TeamLiquid as they are trying to aim for Punisher number 2.
In comes Chris from the side, trying to take down Darkbox. They at least zone him out, so he'll no longer be in this fight. While Liquid take full control from basically nothing, all the way up to very quickly taking over mYinsanity in terms of the demons, and they will also get this Punisher.
And mYinsanity moves back. They know that level 10 is a huge threat to them right now, so they realize they won't be able to get the Punisher. They can't sneak that in. We're having everyone on the side of TeamLiquid already starting to rotate to lanes again, and TeamLiquid is easily picking up Punisher number 2 in this game. They will hit the level 10 any second, but at least mYinsanity did a pretty solid job trying to close the experience gap and get the heroic ability themselves, and they are only a few minions away from that. We have Mighty Gust chosen, no full snipe combo on TeamLiquid's side, so they go into Starfall as expected, but they, at least for now, don't go into the Hinterland Blast, so we're not going to see them with that full attempt to snipe targets away, but they can use the disengage now. They have enough damage as is, though, as Sonya currently experienced. She's down, and that is kill number 5 and number 6 as Lunara dies on the side of TeamLiquid now.
Yeah, and that also means the fort will go down. The Starfall cleared up the minion wave too, so this wave lane is just going to push even more until Diablo can clear it, which it looks like he's going to do. Meantime, Chris continuing to push this top lane, whereas the rest of his team putting some pressure onto the mid lane. So Liquid just getting further and further ahead here.
Yeah, in the mid lane we're having a huge amount of pressure now against the structures too. And with the level 10 abilities, we've seen Lightning Breath taken for Diablo over the potential Apocalypse. But of course, if you take Shrine Control here, then Lightning Breath can really help you to control those choke points in particular. The important part is really to note that with the zone control that we see on the side of Team Liquid, it's going to be a bit of a struggle for mYinsanity to really just like come back into this. A lot of the structures already lost, and even though the forts in the mid and the top lane have not been eliminated yet, all of the walls have been taken out, and in this case, the wells are incredibly low at the top lane has been eliminated already, and that means that as long as there's no pressure from mYinsanity, and all of the lanes are still intact for Team Liquid, they have a lot more sustain when it comes to the actual shrine fights as well, since they can always fall back a little bit, just get mana and hit points back on the well and move back into the shrine, whereas they more or less denied that opportunity to mYinsanity completely.
Yeah, and that's, like you said, going to give them so much control. Chris flying past. He has Mighty Gust. He wasn't looking for that, though. Instead, he was just flying just for the well. So he is now grouped up with his team, though, so he's going to be able to help them out that little bit more. And with level 13 available, his team has even more control than they did before. We have the Unfettered Assault on the Grey main, the Thunderstrike, that little bit of extra damage from Muradins if they need more, Giant Killer on the Falstad, keeping him a bit more versatile, Shrink Ray on Uther, and the Overflowing Light, a little bit of healing from Tyrande.
Yeah, so the healing from Tyrande and Uther together is definitely going to assist them during these battles, and with Tyrande after the last patch now having the option to go into the Starfall, it's going to be quite a bit of damage that he's going to bring to the table. We're going to have a closer look at that a bit later. As we see to the top lane, the next shrine is now being started, but the thing is that with more than half a level still missing for level 13, mYinsanity could end up in a situation where they don't even have the chance to go for it. I'm loving that Chris times that bottom camp, by the way. So right now, it's a huge risk for mYinsanity to move to the top. They have to keep someone at the bot lane to deal with the camp first. Chris was actually waiting for a moment, seeing if he can like push this in. He can always use his fly ability, and he's going to do that. But first of all, since Lunara is moving away, he's going to be pushing the bot lane and forces one of them to retreat, or he can simply go for the keep.
Yeah, Falstad has actually doing a lot of split pushing him, and actually because of that only has 16 bonus damage on his Hammerang for the moment, which is not a huge amount, but in these fights it's going to be able to stack up that more and more each time.
Interestingly enough, with the level 13 talents, we also have now a couple of adjustments being made. A lot of spell shields here to make up for all that ability damage that we see for Team Liquid. Since Hinterland Blast was not taken, Rega can go into the tidal waves, does not have to go for the Earth Shield here. And we have already the damage output. There's that perfect Starfall. Great placement on this part. Blumby's moving away. A lot of damage, especially with the Giant Killer on Falstad. Here comes the Lightning Breath, though. But we have Team Liquid with a slight lead in minions. But they do now exactly what I've been talking about earlier. They move back a little bit, go to the well, try to get their hit points and their mana back up, and can now go into the fight again. mYinsanity doesn't have that option to do that because they already lost well early on. So this fight should end up in the hands of Team Liquid once again.
Yeah, and they're pushing forward. Ancestral's already been used. There's the lockdown onto Darkrock, and he is taken out. Fight continues, trying to pick off anyone dodging out that Arcane Orb, and the Punisher will go over to Team Liquid here. Like you said, that Fountain proving to be so useful, just giving them sustain they need to win any fight.
Yeah, and the bot lane has been pressured the entire time with the remainders of that camp. The Khaldor camp is finally falling here, but it was a bit of pressure at the bot lane. Didn't really result in any actual damage to the structures because Chris was forced to move to the top lane immediately and couldn't really start to push with the bot lane anymore. But right now we are seeing both of the teams on level 13, with mYinsanity starting to fall a bit behind since Team Liquid is already going straight for the level 16 talent. Looking at the damage after this last fight, on the other hand, Tyrande on 12,000 damage. She has the same damage output at this point as Greymane and is close behind Falstad, who's at 14,000 right now.
Yeah, the damage outputs are being intense. There's the Starfall coming in again, doing so much to the heroes and also to the structures. Just using it as siege, the minion wave gets dropped very low. They'll be able to finish that off, and if not, the minion wave will just continue to push up.
Yeah, 7 kills against 0 at this point. mYinsanity really struggling to get a foothold in this game. And already TeamLiquid looking for another potential fight here. They are waiting at the camp. They are seeing what's happening. Gadamhead is starting to move in. BKB can go for a jump and a storm bolt. There's the poke. They want that camp. They want it now. They go for it. Gadamhead with a block is even himself alive. Disintegrate already being used, but the kill against Rhaegar. No more heals for them. Here comes the Divine Shield, and Greymane is just ripping them a new one. Lol, on the other hand, has taken a lot of damage from Lunara, which is taken out by Muradin hopping in. It's a triple kill. It might be a quad kill as Blumby's taken out too. A close call here for a lot of the heroes on the side of TeamLiquid, but in the end, none of them dies. They get 4 additional kills and are now overall on 11 kills against 4 and 16 versus 14 in levels.
I'm kind of confused why mYinsanity really stayed around there. They saw that Liquid were in that bush via the wisp that Lunara sent out. They saw that they were there, and they knew they would hit level 16 very shortly, yet they still hung around and tried to take the camp and took a fight that they really shouldn't have.
Yeah, I agree with you there here. I feel like they really had a chance in... like, Greymane was incredibly low. If they get the kill against Greymane, maybe they are able to make a bit of a play. But I feel like for them, it was taking a huge risk in this situation. Maybe they didn't really expect everybody to be there. And, like, were trying to sneak the camp away. Either way, though, the problem for them really is that now they are falling farther and farther behind, and with them not even having the level 16 talent, now that the next shrine is going to be announced, they will lose another Punisher, or at least they should. And TeamLiquid is playing more or less a flawless game here, with Lowell going into a full Worgen build, going even for the Alpha Killer. And, I mean, at this point, with Giant Killer taken, with Alpha Killer taken, I would hate to be Diablo in this setup.
Yeah, let's not even forget about Tyrande, the Hunter's Mark. She's just going to be able to vulnerable him and let her team just work Diablo down. He's going to have a very unpleasant time. That spell shield will not protect him against autos.
Yeah, Tyrande, by the way, is the second highest damage dealer on the side of TeamLiquid with 19,000. She has even more damage than Falstad. Falstad, of course, with that Gathering Storm build, more for the siege damage and split push, and he's at 117,000 siege damage already, pushing the bot lane again before flying in up here to the top. 16 versus 16 now finally, maybe the chance for mYinsanity to laser someone away. They go for BKB, they don't get the kill, but with all those percentage damage talents, we are seeing Blumby fall. The heal is hitting Darkmock, the stun too though, and a great Starfall again for the zoning. TeamLiquid have full access onto the shrine again. They can move back again. Guess what? They're just gonna go and move to the well, which does of course not exist on the side of mYinsanity anymore. And we still have camps pushing all of the lanes, with the exception of the mid lane, by the way.
Yeah, the one saving grace for mYinsanity here is Diablo had enough souls. Never mind, he's gone. He had enough souls to come back for a second, but he's gone. Now we think Darkmock trying to stay alive with the whirlwind. It's not enough, but mYinsanity do get the Punisher here.
Yeah, they get the Punisher, and they actually nearly killed Greymane. It was a very, very close call. Greymane had to move away now, even after a quick heal. But the problem is still that top lane is being pressured by one of the camps. We have the bot lane also under a lot of pressure. Falstad is getting taken out. That's the first kill against TeamLiquid, and Nuruk is attempting to make that too with focusing Shed. The Punisher in the mid lane is at least giving some experience to mYinsanity. Great dodge, by the way, on the side of BKB, baiting the Punisher and then jumping away from it. But yeah, mYinsanity, they have to move back. They can't even push with their Punisher here because first of all, they're lacking 2 heroes. And second of all, they have to deal with those camps. Blender took the top lane and depushed it. We have Nurok at the bot lane. That Punisher didn't really as much as they were hoping for.
Yeah, but at least they were able to get it. It's at this point not as much about getting it to actually make as much work as they can out of it. It's more to stop TeamLiquid having it right now. And well, it worked out for them. They still have all of their tier 2s without a huge amount of harassment. They were able to clear out the mercenaries and get themselves their first kill of the game. They're only 2 levels behind and are currently even on talents. It's basically their last chance to really get a couple more kills to give themselves a bit of breathing room to work their way towards their own 20s.
I totally agree. I mean, definitely a good point. They deny the Punisher at least to TeamLiquid. The problem is really the level 20. So TeamLiquid is not going to aggressively try and take a fight here. They are going to wait a little bit until they hit the level 20 talents. Then they have roughly 2 levels in which they can start to focus down the keeps, because they have to do that. They need to really open up a potential path for winning the game after a team fight, and this is like one of the few chances that they have. There's a bit of a bait on the fight though by Blumby, who jumps in and tries to steal the camp away. He doesn't get that done yet. but we have the level 20s now ready, and this is where we are seeing TeamLiquid engage. Tooth and Claw have been taken now. We're having the Celestial Wrath on Tyrande, increasing the damage on her Starfall by even another 30%. And of course, there's the Epic Mount. They jump in for Bloomby, and he has no chance.
Yep, gets completely annihilated there. Even without the Alpha Killer, they would have just been able to burst him down there. But with that Alpha Killer, Diablo does not stand much of a chance. And like you said, with those level 20s, we are seeing Liquid push in. The fact that mYinsanity were able to get that keep gives them a little bit of breathing room, but they're still 2 levels behind. They need to put on a humongous and gargantuan defense here. Try to stay alive, but there's the Mighty Gust catching Darkbok and Splendor. Splendor getting focused, and he is deleted. Darkbok trying to stay alive as best he can with that Nerves of Steel. He gets chased down as well, but they're not able to get the kill.
Yeah, and Celestial Wrath is also pushing against Sonya back. They get that keep easy peasy. And this is even without the Punisher that is now, of course, up for the grabs to the top lane, where they are moving immediately. The damage output on Tyrande is at 35,000. I actually think chances are that we are going to see the damage on Starfall nerfed a little bit in the future. It seems to be just a little bit overtuned. The teams are taking advantage of that. And it hasn't gotten to a point where teams are banning aggressively against Tyrande. But you can really tell that it's a little bit difficult for mYinsanity to deal with all of this. It's 16 kills against 1.
Yeah, it's so far ahead right now for TeamLiquid, but we are just seeing mYinsanity make the best they can out of this, just rushing for 20, killing minions, killing towers, getting any XP they can to give themselves a level 20 for basically one last fight to keep themselves in this game. We're seeing everyone retreat. Right now, though, there's a 4-man roaming squad looking to catch anyone to make sure that this defense can't happen, because if it's a 4 versus 5, TeamLiquid are just going to take it and win the game.
Nature's Culling is, by the way, doing so much work.
Yes.
It is incredible how much damage actually Norok does right now. But the level 20 isn't there for them yet, and that's something that they are currently still waiting for. Mid lane is getting pushed a little bit. Bloomby is looking for a potential flank. Needs to be very careful here, and he is. Moves back already, baits the Punisher in, which is, of course, the main job that he had at this point. The level 20 is finally there. That gives them a chance to fight back. Galloping Gate has been used, and also, of course, in the case of Diablo, the Hellstorm. So they're not going to lose the core now. They might lose one of their keeps, but I think even that is not going to happen. So a nice move, and TeamLiquid didn't get anything out of that Punisher. A little bit of damage against the key, but that's about it. So mYinsanity, kind of now or never for them.
Yeah, mYinsanity with some great crisis control there. Unfortunately, they've come out of their base a bit too far. Darkbok gets Ancestral, though. The Lightning Breath gets huge damage, and Gerd goes down. He has Redemption, though. Bloomby picked off. BKB taking huge amounts of damage. LOL pushing forward. He doesn't have a huge amount of mana. In comes Chris with the Mighty Gust. Groups everyone together, but LOL is looking low. Oh, goes into Morgan mode, though, and takes him out. Li Ming trying to drop any damage he can. Gerd's already come back to life. Hasuobs gets killed off, and that is looking like it's going to be GG.
And huge parts of this fight was a 5 versus 4, since we had Falstad in the middle of the map trying to de-push the mid lane. So he had to wait for his cooldown on the Epic Mount to be back up, to jump back in. Incredible control again from TeamLiquid. They're not even going for core here. They figure that a lot of their heroes are just a bit too low on mana and hit points. And they also don't go for the keep, so even though they lost a lot of heroes, we have no full commitment to end the game by TeamLiquid just yet. They move back and try to run it with the advantage that they have.
Yeah, they are doing the best they can. Chris still continuing to just build up his stacks build up his stacks very slowly right now, because the amount of split pushing he's been doing. Only 76 bonus damage right now on that Hammerang, but it has been enough. He's been able to take fights pretty well with his team. But like you said, Liquid not choosing to try and die for the core there with only 2 people alive. Instead, they're playing it safe. They want a guaranteed win, not a probably win.
Yeah, absolutely. They have to be careful though that they don't overdo it here. So they have to make sure that if they commit, that they get a little bit more out of it. Because if you think about it, we have 19 kills against 2, and the only real advantage that they were able to get is eliminate the top keep. Of course, if you look at structures, there's still forts on the map for TeamLiquid right now. That gives them a huge lead over mYinsanity. But mYinsanity has now, in every single fight that happens in a 5 versus 5 setup, the chance to turn that around quite quickly. Even if they wipe TeamLiquid, they won't be able to end the game on this, since they, well, maybe through the mid lane if they get a huge push with Nurok going, but it's still a huge risk for TeamLiquid. This game can still be won by mYinsanity if TeamLiquid screws up. And right now, this is the fight that we're looking at. Darkmok is here. Already the temple is, or the shrine is being fought over. Down here, BKB is finding himself in a little bit of trouble. Nice Starfall placement, once again dishing out incredible damage, but a good Hellstorm from Bloomby is keeping everybody back. A lot of cooldowns committed, but no kills so far.
Yeah, both teams tanking through this. That was a good hammerang though from Pulse that immediately forces Darkmok and Bloomby to back up here and get back into poking range. In the meantime, Mercenaries are pushing. Darkmok gets stunned up. The Ancestral not in time. He gets taken out, and now we're seeing Bloomby facing a similar fate. He goes down, and the Li Ming Temporal Flux not able to save her teammates there.
Yeah, and the problem, of course, is that we didn't have enough souls on Diablo to come back to life, so that's another huge issue. Bot lane is still being pressured by one of the camps, and we see another one going straight for the core now with the help of 2 catapults. At the same time, mYinsanity can't move back because they need this Punisher. If they don't get it, the Punisher is going to go for core after eliminating the last few hit points on the keep, and that's exactly what TeamLiquid is going to get right now. Again, the stun combo against Hazops, and he's being attacked since Chris starts to barrel roll in. The healing is too late. There's the fly in and the slow thanks to the mighty gas. Down goes Nurok, and this is going to end the game for sure this time. 23 kills against 2. They move in for a kill against Splendor, but the core has already lost a lot of shields. The Punisher goes through the middle of the map, and the rest of the team is focusing on the top lane to eliminate mYinsanity from game number 1. TeamLiquid with some great play here. 23 kills against 2. A great combo for them, and they take the lead in the best of 3 series here at the Dreamhack Tours Qualifier, winning it on Infernal Shrines and starting the next map in this best of 3 series with a 1-0 lead. Congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, game number 2, Tomb of the Spider Queen. We have TeamLiquid going up against mYinsanity again, and Illidan is banned immediately, as TeamLiquid is looking at a ban on Tassadar again. As we said before, one of the things that mYinsanity really loves to do is play a double support, and TeamLiquid with a ban on Tassadar is more or less denying that to them immediately. It leaves a couple of heroes up for grabs, and with Zul actually taken on the side of mYinsanity, it's very likely that Greymane is again another pick for TeamLiquid. They are going for Greymane as it seems, and we have seen different styles on Greymane as well. Chris plays it more as that poke from a distance at range character, whereas we have also the opportunity for TeamLiquid to play him more as a melee assassin if Lowell chooses to play the hero. So there's a bit of versatility that we have for TeamLiquid's draft overall, and a huge priority in this particular setup now also given to the ETC pick.
Yeah, the ETC very, very early. He is very strong on this map due to there being many locations where a mosh pit can just really change a game. But yeah, very early pick is still quite interesting.
Other heroes that we have to watch out for now is also, of course, a bit more like the wave clear heroes. Especially when we're talking about Zagara, she could be taken here as well. Zul already claimed on the side of mYinsanity. Keep in mind that Sylvanas is also out there. She's a hero that we have seen in the past on Tomb of the Spider Queen, and since the patch, she has, of course, gained also a lot of value, especially when it comes to her Q build that we see oftentimes on the European server. It looks like mYinsanity is actually going to play the wave clear game. Not only do they lock down Zul, but they actually pick Zagara as well now.
Yeah, very specialist heavy, a lot of push potential, but also some decent fight potential. Get a good Moor into a Poison Nova, for example, and you can really get some good damage off.
TeamLiquid with the bans now, and at this point you can really think about what you ban out. I could even see a ban on a Tyrande depending on what TeamLiquid wants to play here. They can of course play Tyrande as well with the ETC. They could, for example, pick Tyrande plus Uther even, again as they did in the last game with the setup that they currently have here. And it seems like we might actually have something along those lines, because they are currently, instead of banning out a support, looking at banning out Sylvanas. And that is, of course, for several reasons. First of all, because of what I said earlier about Sylvanas being a great hero on the map. But if you look at what mYinsanity does right now, playing Zagara and playing Zul, there's always the threat of mYinsanity trying to pick up a Sylvanas as well and play a massive, massive wave clear game and trying to snowball it against TeamLiquid.
Yeah, just basically win via only getting the objective and keeping the lanes pushed, and just let the game win itself, basically, without even really having to fight.
Yeah. And mYinsanity actually bans out Tyrande. Kind of learned the lesson after the last game, so they're saying, hey, with an ETC, there's just too much control already. Don't really want to deal with that. TeamLiquid still likely to go into either Uther or Rhaegar here. considering that they have a Grey main that can really capitalize on a Divine Shield, on Ancestral. Same is also true for ETC. And it's not a big surprise to see Uther being selected at this point. I'm still a bit curious to see what we're going to see in damage. A hero that we haven't really seen as much today as I thought we would is, for example, Vala, who has gained a lot of value over the last few weeks, but has been a little bit disregarded today. Kalthas, on the other hand, is a hero that we've been talking about since this tournament started today, and we haven't seen him yet. And I'm very happy to see that Kalthas is being picked by TeamLiquid, and I'm very curious to see which build is going to be played on him, since there's several Kalthas builds that you can play right now.
TeamLiquid playing to the audience, just like, well, has this not been picked yet and you guys want to see it? Well, we're picking it.
Kinda, yeah, they actually do. And Li Ming for mYinsanity, that would be a really good choice. I mean, they have already a couple of damage dealers here in the backline. If not Li Ming, then maybe even Nurok with that Lunara again might be an option here for them. But I like Li Ming. It's a solid choice here for the poke as well. And yeah, mYinsanity, they still need the healer, and it's very likely that we are going to see Rhaegar for them now.
Yep, and hovering over, like you said, almost definitely what they're going to pick. Going to be very helpful here. A lot of the chain healing good against Kael'thas, and the burst healing good against that Grey mains. And, of course, the cleanse to try and save people from ETC.
I'm curious to see what happens now with TeamLiquid, because they could still play a Thrall, they could still play a Sonya. Both of them are very strong here, and I would love them to pick one of the two. And they go for a Thrall, so I kind of like that setup that they have here. The ETC with Thrall at the front line, Uther to enable them, Grey main probably going to be played by Chris, I would say. We are going to see Lol on Thrall, and this is a very scary setup that they are playing right now. I'm especially curious to see how Kalthas is going to be played. As I said, there's several builds that you can use on him right now. Flame Strike focus. We've seen also a bit of a focus on his auto attacks with his trait. Yeah. So I'm very curious to see how TeamLiquid is going to play this. And guys, I guess let's find out on Tomb of the Spider Queen, our second map between TeamLiquid and mYinsanity. Tomb of the Spider Queen, everybody, is our second map. And well, we have to the left side TeamLiquid with 1-0 lead in the best of 3 series here at the Dreamhack Tours Qualifier. Lowell on Thrall, we have Chris on Kalthas, we're seeing Gerd Amherd on Uther, BKB on ETC, and Shad on Greymane. To the right side of the map, mYinsanity, they were kind of obliterated in the last game. They're trying to make their way back into the series with Splend on Uther, Blumby on Murden, we have Nurok on Zul, Hazorps on Li Ming, and Darkmok is playing Zagara. And, well, one of the questions that we had, of course, going into this game was which kind of build is going to be played on Kalthas, and that question has been answered. We're not seeing the Flame Strike focus, instead we're having him with a trade and auto-attack build.
Yeah, so he gets a little bit of extra healing, so he has a tiny bit of sustain in lane, and also getting that 5% ability power bonus, because every little helps. And seeing Liquid going with the minion block here in the mid lane.
Yeah, they go for the minion block and they allow Hazorps to put some damage on the tower already. Of course, that was something that was incredible. Oh, nice teleport there. Yeah, good reaction on Hazorps. But a bit of a fight happening in the mid lane here already. Li Ming, of course, lost a lot of her tower damage in the past. Now a lot of her abilities do significantly less, which was desperately needed, since we've seen Li Ming just snipe towers at the beginning of the game within seconds. But right now that has changed slightly. But this is definitely going to be a pretty cool game here. And of course for mYinsanity, it's also one of those moments where they have to redeem themselves for game number 1.
Yeah, they need to make some serious comeback and seriously step up in this game in order to earn their spot at Tours. They need to push through all this. But now, though, TeamLiquid seem to have a bit more control over the center of the map and will be able to rotate up and grab all the minions from here. However, with those Zul skeletons, it's actually the push coming out of mYinsanity is very, very aggressive and very scary.
There's a lot of wave clear for for mYinsanity. There's definitely no denying that. With them running Zagara plus Zul, that's a lot that they have here. But the roam itself is a little bit stronger for TeamLiquid, and not if BKB misses his stuns like this, though. Slides completely through the opponent, Gerd sacrificing himself. No, he actually gets away. Well done. It's Blumby who nearly falls, but now Shad is down. Was trying to get the kill against Muradin, but that didn't work. So yeah, actually pretty cool start for mYinsanity right now, but that was a very close fight that we just saw in the middle of the map.
Yeah, a lot of heroes very narrowly escaping there, but unfortunately Greymane tunnel visioned a little bit on that Muradin and got punished for it. So first blood is going to go over to mYinsanity.
You could really tell that at some point he didn't even care about survival anymore. He was just like, alright, I'm going to die here. Let's try and get at least the kill so that not I'm going to die in vain. But he kind of did. And for now we're still seeing that rotation with a 4-man in the middle and the top. But we have Zagara versus Thrall at the bot lane, and so far Zagara is actually doing a very solid job there, trying to keep the lane to herself. And now that she has Envenom Spines as well, this is going to make things even easier for her.
Yeah, she can poke the Thrall very aggressively now. Bloodbeat gets stunned up, but there's not really any follow-up for it, so he will survive. And level 4 available for both teams right now, getting that next talent. Khaldor's actually hiding his for a little.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, I mean, like, not talking only about the talents, nice damage here by Li Ming, by the way, but Zagara, they need to set a gank down at some point. I mean, Zagara is currently pushing Thrall back significantly, and Thrall is struggling, even with the build that he has chosen here, going into the Chain Lightning. He's, of course, a huge lane bully, but Zagara is depleting the ammunition on the towers, and now she's just starting to push even more. She has the entire bot lane covered in creep, and Darkmook is doing an incredible job here. Lowell is really in a lot of trouble, and they need to send someone down, or he's going to start losing structures.
Yeah, this is true. He needs a bit of assistance for his team. Chris finally has picked his level 4 talent. He has gone with the Energy Royal. When Gravity Lapse hits a hero, it reduces the cooldown by 7 seconds. So looking for just that extra stun, and his team has a lot of it already. So that's over half of the cooldown returned if he hits a hero.
Yeah, and one of the alternatives, of course, that we sometimes see is also that you just have those 30% extra range, which is pretty cool too. But in this case now, a different choice for Chris. We're having also, in terms of talents, Tragul's Essence taken on Zul, not going into Jailers here. Stun against Blumby, and he might have been a bit too far out there, gets barely away from this. And TeamLiquid not securing that kill either. So right now TeamLiquid still waiting for the first kill in the game. They're trying to go in, BKB actually going very deep here, a little bit too deep maybe. They're trying to kill him, and Li Ming is securing that. They're guarding the gems now as well. BKB losing quite a few gems for his team, and mYinsanity really starting to get ahead in this game.
Yeah, 18 gems dropped, only 5 picked up by Uther there, so that's pretty disastrous. A lot of gems lost here. And right now, mYinsanity have enough gems for a full turn-in, whereas TeamLiquid don't. So, lol, finally starting to get a bit of counter-push going. He's finally able to get his sustain out and continue to poke Zagara and keep the lane at least from getting to the towers.
Another big problem was that Greymane actually missed his cocktail, and that meant that the turn-in was completed. Blumby, wow, nice dodge on the lower side. That was an important one. With the 19 gems that he has, if they lose Thrall now, that would be a disaster. They already have to take care of the first Web Weaver wave, which is not going to be easy for them. But if they lose another set of gems, that would have been a disaster. Right now, on the other hand, we are seeing on level 7 Gravity Crush taken. So also extra damage here from Khaldor for 4 seconds, which can really help you to snipe on single targets. Not what we see too often, but as we said, there's a couple of Khaldor's builds out right now. But heavy push power down to the bot lane, and Zul is actually split from the rest of the team, and we all know about the wave clear that the Necromancer has.
Yeah, but this does give Liquid a bit of a chance to try and move in a 4 versus 4 while Greymane defends the mid lane. And actually, he's all going to come into the mid lane as well, try and give Greymane a tough time. But Liquid are actually able to defend this without losing the fort. The top lane, though, like you said, Zul has set that up, and it's still pushing very hard.
Yeah, he's pushing hard in the mid lane now too, and Lurok did not only eliminate the top lane towers, but he did the same thing now also in the middle. And that results in an entire level lead that we see for mYinsanity now. TeamLiquid is falling behind here. They have the gems that they need for a turn-in, and if they really want to make this work, then they need to turn in now before mYinsanity hits level 10.
However, right now, most of the turning points are being guarded by mYinsanity. They're keeping the pressure on here, and as such, they have a 4-level lead, getting quite close to their own level 10s so that they can just continue to prevent Liquid from doing anything here.
Yeah, mYinsanity doesn't have the amount of gems that they need for the second Web Weaver wave just yet, but if they hit level 10, then they will have an easy time to collect those and turn them in for a second wave, and TeamLiquid is apparently accepting that. They are not trying to push aggressively for one of the spots. Lowell is also not able to sneak in here, since there's just way too many creep tumors from Zagara granting Vision now, and Vision is basically really what currently wins the game for mYinsanity. That level 10 is going to hit, and it will be a second Web Weaver wave that TeamLiquid has to deal with, so they are already waiting, and they accept that they will have to sacrifice a couple of structures probably.
Yeah, they don't have a huge amount of choice here. There is that level 10 coming in for mYinsanity. Ancestral Healing Avatar, the Poison Nova, Li Ming yet to pick. Both are fine here. And the Devouring Maw on the Scar. And it's Disintegrate for Li Ming.
Yeah, Disintegrate is interesting to take actually against ETC. Usually it is way for force against him, but they have an interrupt with Muradin. And they also, of course, that Maw, which can be used to either interrupt that mosh pit or instead make sure that just the back line of ETC cannot dish out the damage if you trap them properly. Blumby is attempting to turn in, and TeamLiquid is trying to delay that a little bit. They have 83 gems right now, and with the Web Weavers coming into play again, a huge risk for TeamLiquid is, of course, that they're going to lose these gems. So if they lose heroes now, that would be extremely bad for them. They're already falling behind very heavily, and they need level 10 if they really want to make a defense here. I mean, this push in the mid lane is happening without the Web Weavers even being present.
Yeah, mYinsanity really snowballing out of control a little bit here for Liquid. However, the 10s will be available very, very soon. And that's going to be Liquid's time. Try and turn, however, they're at minimum going to lose this fort as well. Gerd just positioning himself to protect Chris. And now they're going in. Extra damage coming out. And that's a lot of damage with this build from Kael'thas.
Yeah, they have now finally level 10s. Phoenix is being used. BKB not going for the mosh pit just yet. There we go. Uses it. Divine Shield is on him. They kill against Zoo. That was a big one. And they're trying to turn it against Blumby, who's already in avatar form. Gad has to heal himself. The Maw is ready. And the blow up against ETC. Thrall is dying too. The resets for Hazorps are ready. And that's a triple kill against TeamLiquid. And this is a disaster. They lose Greymane in the middle now as well. The Web Weavers are still pushing and they're starting to go for the keeps. They lost a huge amount of gems here too. And Darkmook is already pushing buttons to just take down those towers in the middle as well that are guarding the keep. It could not be worse for TeamLiquid. This is a disaster for them.
Yeah, mYinsanity snowballing out of control right now. They have their level 13s. Like you said, the Web Weavers are still pushing. The Web Weaver in the mid lane finally dying. The one in top, the one in bot lane just took down a tower as well and can keep going here due to the fact that the entire team is here to support it. It will run out of health though due to the ticking health of the Web Weavers.
Illusionist on 13 after the Calamity on 7 for Li Ming, completing that standard build more or less. We have now also Corpse Explosion taking a full focus on the Skeleton Warriors on the side of Zul. But right now this is of course a tricky spot. Muradin hasn't picked his 13 yet, but in this case they're just like pressuring the bot lane even more. It started off with a very nice kill against Zula actually, as we saw ETC move in, and it was a very nice timing that we saw for TeamLiquid. The problem really was that now the more hitting 2 made it very tricky for them to just keep both of their frontliners alive, and then it snowballed in favor of mYinsanity. And just look at the amount of gems. They haven't turned in a single gem. We're 10 minutes into the game and TeamLiquid was not able to hand in a single gem, and they only have 34 right now, whereas we are seeing their opponents getting ready to turn in for Web Weaver wave number 3.
Yeah, TeamLiquid have probably dropped more, dropped 4 times the amount of gems that they actually have right now. They haven't, just like you said, they haven't got anything in here, and they're just playing purely defensive. They're sort of, at this point, it seems to be in a situation where TeamLiquid needs mYinsanity to make a mistake.
Oh yeah, I totally agree with you here. I mean, they need them to make a mistake that they can capitalize upon, because this is going to be the mYinsanity show. They are going to just like make all the calls here. They are going to be the ones calling the shots and saying like, all right guys, we attack, we defend, and they control the entire map. And it's not only the creep spread that we see for Zagara, it's at the same time also that advantage in talents, the advantage in levels, and they have the amount of gems that they need, or they're close to turning in a 3rd time. And then we're talking about also keeps being pressured directly. Gerd is more or less the only one that really holds a huge amount of gems on the part of TeamLiquid right now. If they can turn in, then maybe they can buy themselves a little bit of time and breathing room, but it doesn't really look like they get the opportunity to go into the middle.
Yeah, they can't get far enough forward. The minion wave, the 2 push top, and mYinsanity have guards basically on every single point that Liquid would need to pass through. And right now, TeamLiquid, they try to deep push their lanes and get engaged upon to the point where they might die here. There's a Divine Shield used on Greymane, not as an engaged thing, just to try and keep them alive, but it expires just as the Maw hits, and this could be devastating. There's the Poison Nova, and deleted.
It's a triple kill again, and they lost another huge amount of gems. Gerd is basically the only one that so far has been able to hold on to his gems. And I mean, now they are about to hit level 13, but that doesn't do them any good any longer. And it's even a move towards the boss. And the problem is that they cannot only take the boss, they will actually time a turn in with the boss. And that could be the end of the game. They will hit level 16 very, very soon. We have Muradin starting to move in. Yep, he's going to get the turn in. They should have actually turned in already to really time that perfectly with Boss and Webweavers. So they kind of messed their timing up slightly, but now they have the chance to like turn in the last few gems that they need, and they do that. Boss is going to move through the top lane. Webweavers are going to come a little bit later. Problem is that the Webweavers could actually come into play at a time when the boss is already taken out. So if they would have timed that a little bit better, I really feel that the top push could maybe even have ended the game with the level 16 talent they're about to get. But as is, it's already going to do massive amount of damage.
Yeah, it's not going to be a huge deal not getting these in too early, but like you said, I think they could have captured it a little bit early. In comes the harassment from Li Ming onto BKB, who does have his mosh pit up, which is basically the only saving grace for Liquid at this point if they can kill off this boss and then get a good engagement. There is the Sundering. ETC held back by the boss tornado, so he's unable to follow up. So Liquid unable to really engage like they wanted to off that Sundering. Instead have to settle for just killing the boss and losing a keep.
Keep is down. Webweavers in the mid lane are about to fall here already. 16 versus 13 now in talents. And it's actually, mYinsanity did not get as much out of this double push as you would think. They were able to get the keep, which is great. But considering that they were not only 3 levels ahead, but also a talent, TeamLiquid kind of got off a little bit cheap.
Yeah, this is true. They were actually able to come out of that not too bad. If they'd been able to land that combo that they wanted, they might have actually come out in a fairly decent position. But right now, they're once again waiting for ETC to see if he can land something. The cleanse already used. Divine Shield is off cooldown. Sundering still with 26 seconds left. BKB pulling very far back. He does have the groupies for his team, but he's dropping very low himself. Gerard having to focus most of his healing onto ETC, who's right now once again looking for an angle, but immediately gets focused.
Yeah, and keep number 2 is about to fall, so they're not getting an opportunity to really save this one. And they are really running out of time here. At some point, they need to make a play, and I'm not quite sure when exactly that's going to be. Here's level 14 versus 17 now. Keep number 2 has been eliminated. So in the end, the double combo that we saw from mYinsanity still gave them access to 2 keeps instead of only 1. And things are starting to look extremely grim for TeamLiquid here. They haven't really gotten anything done in this game, and I want to remind everybody once more that we are now nearly 15 minutes into the game, and we still did not see a single gem handed in by TeamLiquid.
Yeah, they still haven't been able to make anything out of this. Also, I'd like to point out just how well timed that retreat from mYinsanity was, due to the fact that TeamLiquid, Sundering just came off cooldown, they just killed the Webweavers, they really wanted to engage, but mYinsanity playing it very safe for now though. Turn-ins being interrupted by both teams. Blumby getting focused, BKB taking a lot of damage, but Team will keep him alive. There's the Sundering, they want that Muradin, there's the Avatar and Ancestral. Divine Shield and ETC will only knock down Muradin thanks to the cleanse on Darkrock, but the turnaround immediately killing off multiple members of TeamLiquid. Down goes Uther, there's Thrall. Kael'thas will get away thanks to mounting up, but that is looking like a GG.
Yeah, they are moving towards the core already, and this is the 4th kill. A quad kill happening right there. All of the gems lost, and they go straight for the core. I want to highlight that mYinsanity did not lose a single tower. Not one.
Oh,
they
wow.
didn't lose anything in this game, and they are completely obliterating TeamLiquid here. This is going to be a 3rd game between the 2 teams. mYinsanity with a great draft here. So much push potential for them, and they are able to secure game number 2 on Tomb of the Spider Queen and force the 3rd game out of TeamLiquid in this best of 3 series at the Dreamhack Tours Qualifier. Ladies and gentlemen, it is game number 3. Sky Temple is the map. We have Falstad banned out by TeamLiquid, and mYinsanity is banning Illidan. So TeamLiquid, yes, they go into Vikings. We're kind of talking a little bit about if there might be a chance of seeing the Haka, and there still is. We have seen TeamLiquid and also mYinsanity play the Haka in the past. But seeing the Vikings being picked up this early, I'm a fan already, Tetcher.
Yeah, I am a huge fan of the Vikings in general. Anyone who has seen my hot slogs is probably very much aware of this. But really love to see him played by people with skill. So I'm really excited to see him in this match.
Oh, I love it. Like, dropping the truth hammer right there.
I know I have no delusions about my own play abilities.
Alright, Greymane picked up by mYinsanity now, and that is a hero that we have seen a lot for TeamLiquid in this series. But of course, the last game, I mean, that was brutal against TeamLiquid. mYinsanity, they completely ripped them apart. And now, mYinsanity actually with a Greymane first. But there's a couple of things that they could still do here. It's of course like one of those picks where you have to think about, okay, do we want to take an early support? Like Tassadar, for example, was banned several times against mYinsanity. And if they want to head into that double support enable build where they can allow a Greymane, a Thrall, or like maybe a Sonya to really go ham, that's something that they should definitely consider. They go into something very different, and I'm actually loving this. They are up against the Lost Vikings, and they play an Abathur right now. So also a hero that allows them to split soak experience on the lanes, and a hero that allows them to maybe... I cannot wait for Slabathur versus Eric. It's going to be...
But before Eric has spin to win, because otherwise it's one-sided.
It's going to be a battle of epic proportions. But yeah,
until
like,
Eric starts steps at least once, and then...
Jokes aside for a moment. Abathur is going to be great here, and he has been a hero that we've seen on Sky Temple a lot, but up against the Vikings, this is actually going to be beautiful. And mYinsanity has shown, with Illidan, granted, already a couple of Abathur plays today. So what they are going to try is to help out Greymane, or maybe even another frontliner with Abathur plus their support. So TeamLiquid probably didn't really expect Abathur to be picked up by mYinsanity this early. They are going into the ETC again, and also into Li Ming. And if Abathur is somewhere out on lane and Li Ming gets the glimpse of him for just a moment, he's going to be blown into another dimension within seconds.
Yeah, it also makes a lot of sense picking the Li Ming away from mYinsanity due to the fact that she is one of the best heroes against the Vikings, because it's just extra heroes to die, which can reset her cooldowns in the middle of a fight. So it makes a lot of sense for TeamLiquid to pick her up here.
The Vikings, or Li Ming is definitely a threat to the Vikings. The interesting part is that if you talk to Vikings players, they always say that a good Vikings player shouldn't really lose too many of them against Li Ming. So, for the resets. But we all know what happens when a fight turns against you, and then Li Ming is just suddenly hitting the jackpot, like, one time after another, getting reset after reset. It's just like, strike, got it. And takes all of them out. So TeamLiquid was a smart pick here. Good damage for them, denying Li Ming to the opponent. mYinsanity, after we've seen bans on Tyrande for Starfall reasons, and Muradin now heading into that Uther though, and that kind of caters towards what we've been saying earlier. Having a double support is something that they love. In this case, Abathur with his shields, with the symbiote, is going to help out whatever hero they are trying to enable here. Greymane and Worgen form could be the case, but a Thrall would help them as well. Guys, we are definitely in for a treat with this game.
Yeah, there's a lot of focus on protecting that Thrall and protecting the Greymane, depending on which one is going in and which one is alive at the time. So there's going to be a huge amount of damage. Li Ming going to have to stay very mobile, and ETC going to have to do a very good job of peeling due to the backline engage potential of mYinsanity.
A hero that I could have seen as well, I mean, it's a bit too late for it now too, but is Zeratul. We have seen actually TNL in the Korean scene play a lot with Zeratul and the Cleave Gathering power build on this map. If you use that against the Lost Vikings, that would actually be something where Zeratul can get a lot of stacks and then really go into these fights. At this point, it's of course not an option anymore. It requires also a different playstyle, but it would have definitely one of the potential counters against this. TeamLiquid, first of all, with a Sonya, and ETC Sonya is, of course, very similar to ETC Muradin, a very scary combo that can go deep into the backline of the opponent. Rhaegar, still available as the healer, as Uther has been taken by mYinsanity, but a very solid draft for TeamLiquid for sure now. Yep,
going to be able to... They have some good range damage, they have a very strong front line, and they have a good amount of XP soak, but... so do mYinsanity at the moment. They have Greymane with the cocktail for that backline damage. They have the Abathur for the XP, the Roll for lane control versus Sonya, and of course the backline engage. And Tyrael is going to be their last hero, who's the good mix of backline engage and frontline sustain.
Tyrael with Sanctification is a hero that allows you to just like completely run over an opponent. You really want to gain that momentum. What Tyrael basically does, like think about a copy on Thrall or Greymane, for example, from Abathur. All of a sudden, you have not only like Thrall as a melee assassin, you have also a double Worgen with Tyrael. And all four of those jump in, Sanctification gets dropped, and they're going to be able to deal out incredible damage. If that happens on one of those shrines, they can wreck any composition within seconds. So that's something that TeamLiquid has to be very careful about, because this is what mYinsanity is going to be looking at. They are trying to really gain momentum during these fights to completely overrun TeamLiquid. And TeamLiquid, on the other hand, they have the Vikings for the experience soak. They have also a very nice setup here with ETC going into a mosh pit potentially. So this is going to be a pretty cool game. And it's the third map, of course, as well. Sky Temple, ladies and gentlemen, is going to decide which team moves on to the semi-final, and we are going to jump in right away to find out which team is going to take the match. Game number 3 on Sky Temple. It is the final map between the two teams here in the round of 8 for the Dreamhack Tours Qualifier. Currently to the left side of the map, TeamLiquid once again with LOL on Sonya. We have BKB on ETC, Chris on Li Ming, Gerd Amherd on Rega, and Shad on the Lost Vikings. And to the right side of the map, a pretty cool setup as well for mYinsanity. They are rocking it here with Splendor on Uther. We have Darkmook on Thrall, Nurog on Greymane, Hazorps on Abatha, and Blumby on Tyrael. So they are going to look for a lot of momentum during these team fights later on after Sanctification is available for Tyrael. Trying to jump in with Sanctification to keep the melee heroes safe, and then ideally, of course, the copy on Thrall or Greymane to completely overrun the opponent. That's what they're going to be looking for. And we are going to have a very, very fun game one way or another here in this setup.
Indeed, we are. So having a look at some of the level 1 talents as the teams just poke each other with some ranged abilities for the moment without overly committing. We have the block coming in from the Sonya here, just giving her a little bit of sustain against that Thrall and Greymane, who are both likely going to be fighting her quite often. The Vikings going for a full split and taking that Viking bribery so they can get a bit of split push going. And we see the Force Armor on the Li Ming to protect it against the Greymane, the Colossal Totem for the Rhaegar to help engage.
Yeah, rotations are already on, and with 4 heroes currently, we are seeing a 4 versus 4 at the bot lane. Oh, the kill against ETC, and Blumby gets away. He's definitely one of the strongest warriors that we have in the European scene here. And he is showing his skills throughout this entire tournament here already. Hazorps actually, with a quick pause, apparently Nurog has to restart real quickly since he is having lags. But you can really tell the strategy that we are seeing right now. Vikings at the top, Vikings in the middle, and at the bot lane are trying to soak, and the rest of the team is currently rotating and trying to get some kills and force the opponent into fights. But so far, we have seen mYinsanity getting a bit ahead in those team fights.
Yeah, and they're actually doing a decent job in soaking the XP as well. They've got one person every lane, including Abatha, who's currently outside of his gate in the top lane, just soaking up the XP there as well, so that he doesn't, so that his team doesn't fall too far behind. And well, thanks to the power of Symbiote and Locust, he is actually going to be able to outpush Eric here.
And one of the things that's going to be important, of course, is especially in the mid game when the Vikings can still get a lot of value for the team. When we have temple spawning on the map, you get extra experience. Play again is usually what we see as the heroic ability when Chad plays the hero, and for very good reason. Normally what happens on 16, for example, is that Olaf goes straight for that particular stun talent so that you can get a bit of a flank going on against your opponent's backline. In that case, it would, for example, be Greymane, or you can try and put some pressure on the healer. One way or another, they are going to look for an opportunity to flank, but until then, experience soak is really what it's all about. Nurog is already back to business, so we're going to see how this game is going to continue. But for now, no temple was announced yet. That's going to happen any second right now. But already the first kill against TeamLiquid. They won't be too happy about that, but especially with Vikings, that's nothing that is setting them too far behind.
Yeah, they're going to be able to soak a lot of XP. In fact, they are almost exactly even currently in this game. And as such, we'll be able to rotate up to this middle area and attempt to take the watchtower for starters, get that vision control. But, in my eye, not letting it go down without a fight. They are going to take that back straight away, but because that Liquid do take control initially of this temple. But we are seeing a scuffle here. This will dissolve into a fight eventually. Yeah,
and at the bot lane we have Shad going up against Hazorps still, and very nice the position battle that we have between the two. Abatha has to move to the top of that lane actually. Usually he's in one of the bushes at the bottom. First Viking is actually down, and that is Balog here in the middle. The lanes are still being soaked, and Abatha is repositioning himself at the bot lane just slightly, so that it's a bit trickier for Shad to find out where exactly he puts his body.
Yeah, going to be a little bit harder. The Locust should reveal it eventually, but he keeps moving around. He is just consistently repositioning himself every time he comes out of Symbiote so that he can just keep on the move, keep changing which direction those Locusts come from. Shad going to be taking the first shots.
Yeah, Shad with Eric the Swift, and that's actually something that he has done in the past already a lot. He is able to soak a lot of these shots, and he is single-handedly able to get a lot of that going, and that will of course result in an experience lead again. So a nice job here on the side of TeamLiquid. They have Eric at the top, and they are still soaking the bot lane while fighting in the middle for another one of these temples. So good job done, but Gerd is under pressure. He's getting jumped, heals himself. Blumby wants him, and Nuruk is there too. The kill secured, but Blumby might fall if BKB gets his cooldown ready. He gets stunned though, but they're aiming for Greymane.
Yeah, Nuruk, a much more delicious target, gets healed by Uther and is taken down. Final shots go over to mYinsanity, but they have now actually, because of the Vikings, fallen behind in XP, and because Eric basically got every single shot up in the top lane.
Exactly, with Eric the Swift being a great talent to play on this map, we've actually seen the entire temple at the top being soaked by TeamLiquid, and mYinsanity is falling behind slightly in experience. So Shad doing an incredible job here already. But look also at the builds that we are seeing now with level 4. We have Nuruk going straight into that melee build, into that Worgen build once again, with him going for the thick skin here. Also, when it's all about Tyrael, of course, amplified healing after Regeneration Master. He's the only real tank in the setup, so he wants to make sure that he is as sustainable as humanly possible. But we have at the same time now the spin to win, which is going to make it easier for the Vikings to get a little bit of a wave clear going.
Yeah, unfortunately, he's not going to be able to help Balog escape there. He is one of the Vikings who has the hardest time escaping. He's not tanky like Olaf, he's not fast like Eric, and as such, he does get taken down here. Eric immediately, though, rotating down to this lane with Eric the Swift. He gets there very quickly, while the rest of his team is pushing this top lane hard.
And they have a lot of experience here as well. 7 against 6, the Talons right now. They are pushing in with the camp that they already took. The Viking bribery, of course, going to help them out in a lot of these situations here. And keep in mind that with them going for Eric the Swift on level 4, they had to give up on the Mercenary Lord. So that's a huge talent to take, especially on maps like Towers of Doom. In this setup, it works really well for them, though, to go for Eric the Swift for the exact reason that we saw during the temple phase. What I really want to highlight is something that you've probably already seen being used. We have a mule on Abathar.
Yep, nice little bit of protection here. It's very solid on this map due to it. The more health the more shots your buildings can take from those temples, the better off you are in the game. And we saw a big push from Liquid. So this mule getting some good worth on this top 4. It's a lovely talent. Shad being very annoying.
Yeah, I was just about to say, he's going straight for Greymane, poking the wolf a little bit. We're seeing at the bottom of the map already Olaf soaking the shots on the towers, and they are about a level ahead of their opponent. Look at the level 7 talent on the other hand for Greymane. He actually went into the Quicksilver bullets here and not going for the Incendiary Elixir. So it's one of the talents that most Greymane players are very reluctant to give up, but he goes into the extra range in his human form.
Yeah, Shad needing to back up here with that Olaf, does not want to get caught out. Wouldn't be trying to wrap around and give himself good angle. Shad gets knocked back by the Guardian there. Once again, has to reposition himself so he doesn't get picked off. But while this is happening, mYinsanity taking most of the shots here.
Yeah, and well, Blumby gets now a symbiote. So far, Ops on his Abathar has been trying to soak 2 lanes, one with his body and the other one, of course, with him just like simply trying to go for the symbiote. The problem is that all of a sudden Shad is there as well. Ops has to retreat, and Ops is able to escape, but that was of course also a close call. Let's not forget about the level 10 ability that is going to be dropped any second. Darkmoor is already in trouble and he goes down. Even the symbiote could not prevent that. Here's that level lead for TeamLiquid once again. They have now the wave of force. We are seeing them also with a play again, plus Mosh Pit and Ancestral Healing. The Wrath of the Berserker activated immediately by Lowland. They are aggressively pushing the bot lane.
Yeah, they want to be able to take this down. BKB tanking the shots. He has Rhaegar here, but Rhaegar, a little bit lower mana, has popped into his wolf form to get a little bit of that Feral Heart. And Mule's not going to save this. This fort will go down thanks to the minions arriving. And that is going to be the first fort of the game, going over to TeamLiquid.
Yeah, Mule is being dropped at the top lane on the other hand, so it's going to try and just repair that fort again. But if Shad sees this, he might actually be able to move in and take it down, not without a minion wave on the other hand. So he's for now just focusing on taking down the minions, but he's already being engaged upon by Nuruk, who's starting to make his way in, and even Tyrael, who's currently taking the vision that the Vikings should always be able to get back at some point.
Yeah, they'll be able to steal that just any time, really. Shad needs to be a little careful in this mid lane. Blumby pushing out, but he's able to pull back quite easily. Olaf slowly making his way up the lane as safe as he can so that he doesn't get caught out, preferably. So staying far enough back. Not gonna miss out on a little bit of XP, but it's better than losing the Viking.
keep in mind that we are actually now finally at that moment in the game when we are... Sorry?
Sorry, 3 heroes just ran past Shad without seeing him in the mid lane and let Eric live.
Well, you need a little bit of luck at some point if you're Eric. You don't have really a lot of hit points, so that's kind of part of what you need to survive. That, on the other hand, could be a bit of a problem for the heroes up here to the top, because now we are finally having the win condition ready for mYinsanity. They have that Sanctification. They go in with the first kill against Balog, and that's the double thrall already. They're attempting to go for BKB. He jumps in, goes straight for the mosh pit here. Chris is trying to deliver the damage against Thrall. They take him down. Blumby does not have the Sanctification anymore. They are about to lose the copy on Abathar as well, as Nuruk is attempting to go at least for ETC, but BKB moves away with 100 hit points. The kill against Greymane, and that's the double kill that they were hoping for. Great action here by TeamLiquid. mYinsanity finally got that set up with a copy on Abathar and also Sanctification that they were looking for. But the first attempt to use the combo completely failed thanks to great play on the side of BKB with an amazing mosh pit and an incredible escape.
Yeah, that power slide through the Greymane that was about to kill him to put himself in a safer position. Very, very cool to see. And TeamLiquid starting to take great control of this game. They're taking most of the shots. We have Eric using his healing from Eric the Swift in the top lane, just soaking all the shots and healing up any damage he takes. Olaf just tanking the bot lane, although he may either want to leave or, well, just straight up die in this case. Nope, jump!
Yeah.
The stun, he lives.
Jumps away, but let's not forget that the top shrine or top temple is easily taken by TeamLiquid, while they still got shots at the bottom. Shad is already back to full health, and they can still fight this as Sonya is now moving in. The mid lane even being pushed. Shad is everywhere right now. Eric is being eliminated at the top, so for one moment he didn't really pay attention and actually gets taken out. Here comes that Sanctification again, the jump on Lowland, this time he's dead. Ancestral healing wasn't ready, there was still 2 seconds on the cooldown. Greymane with a Divine Shield, but the Vikings want him. Rhaegar is now down too though, and that's the biggest problem for TeamLiquid right now. So they have to move back. Has Ops, wants to go for BKB, but doesn't get the kill.
BKB really on point with those power slides to disengage and protect himself from dying there. The surprise Viking party kind of ruined by the Divine Shield protecting Greymane there, and as such the fort in the bot lane does go down. mYinsanity able to take that and bring themselves closer and closer to evening up XP. They'll be able to grab Shad here as well. So yeah, they're really catching up very quickly.
I feel that TeamLiquid actually wanted a little bit too much here. They still had like a couple of seconds on the Ancestral for Rhaegar. If they wait until they really engage into a fight like this, they could have been able to just like heal Sonya up and then turn it around. The problem for them is always that if Tyrael gets the Sanctification through, and then we have the entire melee setup for mYinsanity jumping in, then TeamLiquid will have a very, very tough time to keep themselves alive without the Ancestral. So if they wait for that, they have a really good chance here. But right now, as you can see, they at least get the kill against Splendor, who was completely isolated. Delays it for a little bit longer, but time is working in TeamLiquid's favor, of course, since they have still the Vikings soaking on all of the lanes. And the big point here is really, if you look at the structural advantage that we're having for TeamLiquid, this is insane. They took out every single fort of their opponent, and that is, of course, a big deal at this point.
Yeah, I also would like to point out that delay on killing Uther was 100% intentional, so they can delay him being back to help out in this defense. And as such, they're able to take the fight really convincingly. They've already taken down Thrall before he could really do anything. And yeah, an immediate pushback. Everyone going down, the boss gets taken out. We're losing a couple Vikings, but overall, TeamLiquid came up massively ahead there.
Yeah, they definitely did. They did not only take the boss, but they were also able to secure additional experience for them, and they killed Thrall. So now we have them on level 16. The Vikings died, but that is something that they were willing to commit to. Large and in charge has been taken for the extra stun. The Fireflies as well. That works, of course, great with the Force Armor here too. We have, again, a Temple up, and this is like the worst case scenario now for mYinsanity. The boss is pushing the bot lane. The Temples are up. Gerd and Blumby are just like dancing around each other. Vikings are going to be back soonish. And we are still having shots fired against also the keeps right now. So this is a huge problem that we're actually seeing for mYinsanity. TeamLiquid, after the last game, they got more or less slaughtered on Tomb of the Spider Queen. But after that last game, they are really starting to find their stride again in this series.
Yeah, they're really starting to start rolling here. Lol, getting that lightning shield, going in for huge damage. There's the Divine Shield straight away onto Thrall, but Tyrael not so lucky. He gets taken out. Just going to blow up on those mercenaries, pick them off so that his team will have an easier time defending. There's the Wave of Force, though, to try and separate out Darkbok. Uses Wind Fury, though, for the sprint, but Lol is mounted. He wants the chase.
And they get the lockdown with Rhaegar, and Hazorps has to commit to the copy. Lowell gets immediately attacked, but keep in mind that Tyrael is not around. He can't use Sanctification. A talent, by the way, that he was not able to activate in that last battle because he was locked down too hard. At least it's 16 versus 16 now, but Shad is pushing the top lane. They're nearly 2 levels ahead. They get still shots thanks to the bottom temple, where now Gad is helping out Shad as well. And they are really starting to pressure these lanes, especially, of course, that keep that we're currently seeing at the bottom. With the level 16 talents on both sides now, this is really the time when mYinsanity is going to try and look for a battle. We have the Alpha Killer on Greymane. That's going to help for sure during these fights. Benediction is going to be great for Uther. And let's not forget that especially Abathur has on level 13 and on level 16 his talents taken. But TeamLiquid, they're having none of it. They're actually pushing aggressively against the bottom keep since they know that the Mule is going to heal it up eventually if they don't.
However, this could be backfiring quite severely on them. Lol, getting stunned up, but the mosh pit is good. The Sanctification comes down, though, protecting at least Darkmock here, but he's getting focused. The healing is not enough there. He goes down. Nurok having to pull back. The Wave of Force does actually push him away there. In comes the surprise Viking party, and the damage is real. They're trying to take down the clone on that Greymane. They're not able to finish him off, though. They do, however, take down the clone. Real Greymane escapes.
Yeah, and they can take the keep now. They didn't even lose BKB. He was so low on his ETC, but he was actually able to escape. He doesn't even have to necessarily back here. He does regardless, but he was actually healed up once more. So he could have like stayed a bit longer, but he was also very low in mana. Viking Bribery again coming through for them. And I mean, this is an amazing game right now for TeamLiquid. Not only do they have the first keep eliminated, they themselves still have a fort in the mid lane and also up at the top. So they have a lot of outer structures that still protect the inner ring, and that is probably the most impressive part at this point, since they kind of got, I think, all of the temples except for one.
Yeah, I think there's a couple things that there's a couple shots from each temple they got, but overall, it's very much been in favor of TeamLiquid, and one of the main reasons that mYinsanity are still really in this game is the Mule has delayed TeamLiquid from snowballing as much as they could have.
Yeah, and I really like that we have just like Shed casually asking, guys, by the way, that visual bug on the Bribery, do you know how to fix that? He knows that there's 2 Vikings players on the opponent's team, but it must also be a bit disheartening for mYinsanity to read something like this. Like, yeah, he doesn't even, like, he just wants to know how to fix the bug right now because he already thinks he has that game in the bag.
Yeah, in this case, not even concentrating. He's just like, oh, that's annoying. How do I deal with that? Abathur getting taken down in the top lane. Eric getting the kill. However, Nurok is here for revenge. Eric, super speed, gets hit by the cocktail. Nurok coming in for the kill, and Shad will escape here.
And I don't really think he would have minded
maybe
too much.
not.
Okay, he doesn't get away from
Okay.
this one. But the mid lane, on the other hand, there's the Sundering against Rhaegar, the lockdown, and the mosh pit again, and this time there's no interrupt, but at least Sanctification. Oh my god, he went for the 20. BKB goes for the tour bus and uses it. They get the kill against, well, Abathur a bit earlier there, and in this case nearly against also Bloomby and Darkmock, but at least they get, of course, Greymane. And now it's Splendor's time to fall. Down goes Uther. What a play by TeamLiquid. They're taking down the keep in the middle, but of course they're focusing on the core itself right now. But can they really pull that off? Gerd is super low. Ma is taken down, gets his ancestral through first, but Hazo is back, and that allows him to use the copy against his opponent.
Yeah, they're trying to just body block with Eric here to try and get Balog and Olaf out. Balog goes down, though. Olaf will survive thanks to his health regen now, and Hasselhoff's will expire before he's able to get the kill. But, wow, yeah, nice defense there from mYinsanity. Good hustle.
Yeah, they didn't lose the game yet. I mean, they're still the core, of course. The problem is that they lost the second key, but BKB is about to fall. Slides through but gets taken apart regardless. Shad is doing his thing on Eric already, just like running around. He's probably going to lose him eventually, but at least he's getting a massive amount. Yeah, Oh, actually survives even with the toxic nest here. But he gets all of the shots again. And now it's only one more keep that is at the top lane that's still ready. The problem, well, maybe not really a problem for TeamLiquid, but the one thing that they need to be concerned about is that we have now level 20 about to hit for mYinsanity as well. So they will be able to fight on even talents. And even though they weren't able to take down too many of the structures, claiming that boss now 17 minutes into the game is at least going to give them some pressure at the bottom line.
Yeah, they're going to be able to get something out of this, and that's actually good timing because Eric is putting some pressure on the bottom lane as well, so at least making it so he has no reinforcements. It's going to be very, very helpful here. Olaf just soaking the XP, and Baylog has just come back to life. They have got the double surprise party there as their level 20s, which we already saw in the last fight that they were able to engage on, so they will be able to teleport in and also get the free revive after they inevitably get blown up by Greymane.
27,000 experience soaked by the Vikings, 21,000 by Abathur, which is pretty impressive still. Greymane took down Eric to the right side of the map, as the rest of mYinsanity is currently pushing the bot lane a bit, but we already have Chris with immense poke damage here, and he is putting that to some serious use. Everybody low, keep that mosh pit in mind, especially the Turbas as well. BKB is looking for an opportunity to use that already. He's starting to move in. Let's find out if he can actually make it work here, especially since Holy Ground is already there. Gas lights in, not using that heroic ability just yet, but the rest of his team is ready as the Vikings are still going for the top and mid lane, but at the same time BKB healed by the Ancestral as he was engaged upon with the Sundering Initiation on Thrall.
Yeah, he was really thinking about re-engaging with that mosh pit there, but the Divine Shield on that Greymane was enough to dissuade him from that. And like you said, everyone's setting up for the shots here for the Vikings. One on each temple already ready. And Eric will be back soon, so he'll be able to rejoin up with his team and basically be the portable teleport point for the rest of the Vikings.
It's a smart choice to go for that camp here. The Viking Bribery already took another camp that Nurok just defended against, but now with another Siege Giant camp moving through the bot lane, it means that it's going to be massive pressure against the core. And the problem still is that the Vikings at the top are soaking these shots, so the keep is going to fall for sure. There's a Sanctification. TeamLiquid is trying to move away from it. BKB is still solid there. 50-second cooldown on the Ancestral on the other hand, but the core is being attacked as we speak. Here comes the Turbas, and it's a good one at that. A great heroic actually on the side of BKB. They get the kill against Thrall. Nurok is so low. Hazo is attempting to at least get a counter kill with his copy on Greymane. He's about to get it against Gad, but not quite. It's Nurok plus Thrall and now Uther that are falling, and that of course means that we're going to see that core attacked immediately. Even that Mule is not going to prevent it. 50% on the core as we speak. And we have everyone else starting to move straight into the middle of the map right now, as there's still a bit of a fight happening to the left. But the game is over as the core explodes and TeamLiquid advances to the semi-final of the qualifier for Dreamhack Tours.